About 2 years ago, I made a video on the chakras, and since then, my understanding of the chakras has really grown, it's grown so much that it almost feels like the video I made before was essentially me reading out of a book, especially for the lower chakras. A lot of people on the spiritual path get very consumed by developing the heart and the third eye and the crown. And if you're on a spiritual path, it just really resonate with the wisdom tradition, like yoga, Buddhism, or just mysticism, or really just I would call them a wisdom tradition. Then those centers probably are easier access than you think. So I'm going to go through the chakras and talk about what it is, what some of the real symptoms would be of a closed chakra, and what it would be for it to be open. So let's start with the base, which is right at the base of your spine, said to be at the coccyx, right at the base. And the first chakra. So this chakra is essentially your existence. This chakra, when is out of balance, when is not fully flowing, then there is a very strong sense of unsafety, existential fear of existing. There'll be usually probably a chronic fear and anxiety around just truly existing. There'll be a strong timidness to relate to others. There'll be a real fear of everything, really, your power, of a lot of things. So it'll likely show up as an anxiety towards life, really. And so when that is open, it is just those symptoms are not there. So essentially, if you feel as if there's a certain part of your life that's not flowing, well, it's not flowing, because if it was flowing, that thought would not even arise that it might not be flowing. So that thought is already a symptom that there's some type of energetic malfunction, blockage in your energy. So that is very primal. That first chakra really is essentially caveman days, when we were afraid, when we had to look around the corner because literally our existence was threatened by a saber-toothed tiger, for example, something like that. I have a friend, Pat, who he remembers hundreds of his past lives, and he said one of his first past life experiences on Earth, his woman, his wife, whatever you want to call it, was eaten in front of him by a saber-toothed tiger. And he then killed the saber-toothed tiger and then killed himself. So that's some pretty scary stuff. Back to the medieval times when you were not safe. Someone could come into your house, take you out, burn you at the stake, execute you. So these are very they're old, but they're still very relevant because they're part of our existence. They're part of the human evolution. So let's move on. That was a long time on the first one, but it's important. The second chakra, and what's funny is that when I originally made these videos, I thought my first three chakras my first two especially, were fine. Those, I believe, were the ones that had the biggest imbalances. Now I know that. The second chakra is flowing water sexuality, your creativity. This is a very, this is a really awesome chakra. There's just an openness of your pelvis, really, to just flow, to dance, sexuality, so sex, your creativity. This is where this flows from. This is huge. This is hugely important. This is where a lot of the guilt and shame begin to get lodged in the belly, which is the third, and then the second in the pelvis. So then you'll have a real hard time with connecting on a sexual level, accessing your creativity. And so this is a huge amount of energy comes into your body through the solar plexus, third, and your pelvis is the second. So yeah, when this is open, there's a delicious flow to your life. And what's funny is that this is probably the one I'm working on the strongest at the moment. It's very, very important. And I guess I'm not really going to give solutions to how to fix these things, because more important than even applying solutions to these chakra imbalances is to see the ways, become very present to the ways that you shut down those energies, whether they'll be your sexuality, or your power, or your existential fears, because these are the things. Just by becoming aware of, bringing awareness, the light of awareness, to the ways we disconnect from existence, it already begins to make an opening in the energy. You're already inviting in the synchronicities and the people and the experiences to begin to help you with the healing process. So just awareness is fundamental to healing. The third chakra, which is your power center. This is where the most energy in your body flows in. It is your core. This is your power. This is your strength. This is, when this area is shut down, you will likely feel a little disembodied and weak. And that contraction will have you feeling tired, because when your energies are open, you will have abundant energies all the time. All the time. Truly. Because that is the nature of energy. It is abundant. The more awareness that is flowing into you, the more energy you have. So it is, well, I guess I will offer a recommendation for this one, because I used it for a number of years. It's just training your core very strongly, very hard, very turned on power, because this will give you a vitality, like a really quick fix, because this is very important. You really need this vitality. You need your life force for your life. It'll affect your digestion, a number of things. This center is a sense of disempowerment, and to bring awareness to the ways, so I'm getting into mental patterns, is to the ways you begin to kind of think you're not good enough, or to feel as if you need to fix something, because you did something wrong, or the fear of getting something wrong. Notice, because our creativity, the fear of getting something wrong, this is our creativity. This is where consciousness gets a chance to experience and experiment in life. And when we begin to shut these things down is when life stops flowing, because we stop experimenting. We're afraid to get it wrong, which is from conditioning, because in our conditioning there is right and there is wrong. In school, people always say, I remember in even elementary school, kids would say, I know this is wrong, but it's just like we have this fear of getting it wrong. It's okay. If you imagine bringing a sense of creativity and playfulness in which getting it wrong was just as good as getting it right. Like, that is what I'm talking about. Right? Life is just this experience of creation, this opportunity for expansion. So I guess that creativity, I was talking about the second, but to get back to the third, this is where you're going to get a sense that you are bad, that you're not worthy, that you can't do it. Those are those things. You need to look at the beliefs you're holding on to, so you can begin, really look at them. Use a counselor, use a therapist, use a spiritual teacher. I would really recommend a spiritual teacher, a really developed spiritual teacher, so that you can see these beliefs that were ingrained into your unconscious, that you are not good enough, that you are unworthy, so that you can begin to say, wow, I learned that belief because of this trauma or because of this conditioning, and now I'm ready to let it go. because what I am is so much more. I am creation that's flowering into existence, that is pure life. So let's get into the power center, not the power center, the heart center. The heart center is a tricky one. Well, it's not that tricky. I guess my understanding of it isn't full. I guess I'll say that. I do know that the core of your existence emanates from the heart. When you have a spiritual realization of the source of love, the unconditional, unspeakable love that you come from, you realize consciousness is a heart. It's this field of unconditional love that is loving, and that is the only way I can describe it, is an infinite field of a heart. So when this is open, you'll have a sense of gratitude. You'll have for everything you have, for the challenges, for the opportunities that come your way. There'll also be a natural arising compassion for others. It's not a force. It's not an ego. I need to bring love to this person. It will be naturally arising. You will have a sense of compassion because the quality of who you are, of the awareness, is compassion. So when this center is open, it will naturally arise. When it is closed, so this is important stuff. There'll be a strong sense of I. There'll be a stronger sense of separateness when the heart center is contracted around. And how you contract around your heart, in my opinion, is the ego. There'll be a strong sense of I. There'll be a strong mechanism that creates separateness, so judgments and projections, which are those subconscious beliefs in which you project possibly a fear that is not really in the space. It's not in reality. You're projecting it onto reality. You'll project that you're unworthy and your ego will do this. So the ego is the mechanism in which your chakra, a huge mechanism which your chakra imbalances can manifest into the world, so that they can be reflected back to you to see the belief that you're holding on to that is not who you are, so you can let it go. The quicker you can go through this process, the quicker the expansion and the light that begins to flood through every cell and oscillate your whole being faster arises. This is a huge teaching. So essentially, the number one factor, the biggest thing you can do to speed up your evolution is bring an absolute curiosity to everything that's arising, to your interpersonal dynamics with people, to your thought processes, to the way you hold certain parts of your body. I know there's so much more, but bring an absolute curiosity to everything, because that is the nature of consciousness. It is playful, it is curious, it is expansive, and the more you shut down this ability to look at these, it is important to be able to look at these uncomfortable situations, these uncomfortable feelings, because this is when the opening happens. So I would say the contraction of the heart is a strong ego presence, and begin to meditate so you can develop an ego awareness. Moving to the throat. I don't have that much to say about the throat. It's very obvious when someone has a throat contraction, because they begin to either stutter, or when they try to speak, they get a little bit choked up, or their voice kind of gets, which is both a reflection of your power and your inability to speak your truth. So when this begins to flow, it just flows. You can be able to have conversations with people, tell them how you feel and about them, tell them how you feel about yourself. It just flows. Confrontation This relates to the power as well, but when this is open, you can speak it. It just flows out. It's a very simple chakra. So the third eye. Oh, and this gets back to, actually, I'll save this for another video about intuitive abilities, because this video is running quite long. But the three intuitive centers are your heart, your third eye, and your crown. Your feeling center is your heart. Your third eye is the ability to see, and your crown is the ability to know. So your third eye, I made a video called the light bulb breath. That is a video to just to kind of open it, like it's a quick opening if you already are in touch with your third eye, just to breathe into it, like a light bulb, filling up a light bulb. If you don't think your third eye is open, find my old chakra video and do that video, Anulom Vilom, breathing exercise to blast open your third eye. Don't do it before bed. This is just a luminosity, a clairvoyance. However these gifts come to you, they will come. I don't see auras or colors. I have knowings. I can see reality clearly, and I'm a super duper empathic, sensitive feeler. So this is the third eye, and then the crown is a sense of knowing. When you access your intuition, you'll have strong knowings as to who you truly are, interpersonal dynamics, the nature of the soul. All these things will just, it's just a knowing. You just know, you know. Or if you're in a bad situation, you'll know, you know. So anyways, I'm getting into the intuitive abilities. The main focus of this video was for really the first three chakras. So I hope this video was enlightening for you. Thank you for this opportunity to do what I love to do.